Hey everyone, you're watching The Esperanza 243. I guess the Sarah Bareilles isn't that popular anymore, because normally her stuff gets a whole bunch of views on YouTube. I actually checked my karaoke video this morning, and there was only 5 people viewed. But I have gained a subscriber. Check it! I now have 39 subscribers. So cool. And he thinks my singing voice is beautiful. I mean, I know if I sing right, my singing voice is beautiful, but I shouldn't brag too much. Anyways, I just wanted to say a few things before I start doing the recap for part 25. One, I just finished a great book. I had a hard time understanding everything. Or not everything. I had a hard time understanding, I should say, a third of it. The book is called A Wind in the Door by Madeleine L'Engle. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. I don't really know. She actually, this is the second book in the series, quintet series. The first one is called, check it, A Wrinkle in Time. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But really, you should be reading the books. The books are always in much more detail, and it's a beautiful description. Anyways, the second book is just amazing. It has so much details, so much scientific facts about mitochondria, farandula. It's just incredible. I honestly don't know how to put it into words, because it's mind-blowing. It's vast. It's universal. It's incredible. Wow. Just after reading a book like that, my heart is so much more open. I can almost feel the galaxy inside me. Incredible feeling. And so I'm actually excited because this is July. Woohoo! Go July! Happy Independence Day for all you Americans. And if I haven't mentioned in my last video or last vlog, there are 3 things that are going on this month that I'm excited about. 1, float trip with my coworkers. 2, one of my coworkers is having a birthday. I already have a present for her. And 3, it's Camp Nano season. Camp Nano, as I probably mentioned before, goes from April to August, and it's only monthly. You choose your own word count of how much you want to do, instead of 50,000 words a month in 1 month. So for me, I chose 25,000. And I will talk about the book later, guys. Let's get to the recap. Part 25 is about Caprice talking to her brother. Or no, sorry. Part 25 is about Nicolau talking to his adopted parents, telling them how he met his sister and that he knows who his birth parents are. He refuses to see Senor Pujadas because of it. And because he's so frustrated with them, he runs out and decides to go to his neighbors, who happen to be his birth parents. And he talks to them for a while, and that's where we are. I'm also excited about this particular part that I'm reading to you, because I am finishing packet 4 and moving on to the last packet of the book. Exciting. Because then you guys will finally know how the book will end. Are you well, young man? The man asked. Nicolau closed his eyes for a few seconds and looked at him. Are you well? Oh, I forgot to mention, his parents have French accents, but I have such a hard time doing those accents correctly. Yes, he whispered. He looked at the kind woman. Yes, I am well. What is wrong? My sister. She looks a lot like you. He licked his dry lips. I was right, he whispered. The couple looked confused. You are them. They looked at him with fear. Who are you talking about? The man snapped. You are Mariona and Frederic. Suddenly, the kind woman started to feel lightheaded. She shook her head slowly as the man stared coldly at him. I want you to leave, he hissed. I cannot, not until I hear it from either of you. Honey, I'm feeling dizzy, the woman said softly, reaching for him. Her husband held her close and caressed her hair. I am here, do not worry, he whispered. He looked back at Nicolau. Leave, now. No, Nicolau said sternly. I need to hear it. I am telling you, young man, get out of here. Your confrontation was weak, but it is hurting my wife. Leave. I'm not going, Dad, he yelled. He gasped and covered his mouth. The man looked at him haughtily with wide eyes. I am not your father, he hissed hotly. Get out of this house. Now. If she is my sister's mother, then what does that make you? My father? My stepfather? Tell me, what does that make you? To me? Don't make me yell at you, boy. You do not want that. He shook his head with frustration. Get out of this house, or I will do it myself. Nicolau groaned in frustration and anger. He left their house, leaving a hot tension in the air. The couple was distraught after his confrontation. I'm going to take a small break. Let's see, where was I? Oh, I'm going to fill this small break with talking just a little bit more about my Camp Nano book. This is a story idea I've been working on all year. It's actually my first Christmas moral book. I've never really done any moral books before, so this is going to be interesting. And it's in the Christmas season, so actually what inspired me of this idea was a year or two ago when I was listening to one of my favorite Hilary Duff songs. It's called Santa Claus Lane. It's a great song, and while I was listening to it, I just thought of, specific little scenes of what could happen if this was, an actual music video and not just her singing on the stage. I'm talking fast, sorry. And so so this Christmas book I'm writing, it's about an elderly woman who is a grouch, who is a Scrooge. She doesn't like Christmas, and even though she's been hosting the event at her house for about 5 years, she doesn't like being near her family. She doesn't mind being near her family, actually, but it just annoys her so to be around so many cheerful people. And so she actually walks she actually takes walks during snowfalls, during a blizzard or whatever. And when the snow stops, she's in a different town, which is actually one of the lyrics in the which is actually one of the lyric lines in the Hillary Duff song. I just want to check the time here real quick. I'm going to go back to the book, basically, because sometimes I talk too much during these little breaks. It took a few days for Nicolau to cool down. He felt guilty for what he did, yelling at his parents and his birth parents. He apologized to them. He apologized to his parents. They accepted it. They felt hurt that he had to learn about his adoption from someone else. After that, he visited Senor Pujadas, but it was a short visit. He learned where Caprice was staying and went to her house. He knocked on the door. "Yes," a young woman said, opening the door. Nicolau was not surprised to see it was someone else. She did, after all, tell him she had rented a house. "Is Miss Caprice available? May I ask who's calling?" He nodded. "My name is Nicolau." The woman closed the door and searched for her. Within a few minutes, Caprice was at the door. She was happy to see him. "Nicolau, thank goodness you came. I was worried Bruno and I had scared you away." She winced, realizing she almost said what Cassius said to her once. "I need to speak to you. Is it good news or bad news?" He winced as well. It would be both. She let him in. They sat down in the sitting room and conversed. He told her what happened between him and his parents, and then he told her what happened afterwards. He was careful of his words, though. Anyone could be eavesdropping. Caprice became surprised of the news. You went without me?" "I'm sorry. I was upset. I didn't know what to do. I thought talking to them would clear my mind." He sighed. "I was wrong." It was quiet for a moment. "I am glad you told me. At least now they shall expect one or both of us to visit them soon." Nicolau sighed again. "You do intend to visit them, then?" "Yes. I think it would be wise if we go together, though." He opened his mouth to speak. "If either of us go separately, we shall not have any support. Mom and Dad shall need words of comfort as well." She paused. "You don't know what it was like to live lonely." It became quiet for a while. "I almost forgot," he whispered. "You must miss her." She nodded her head slowly. "I do miss them. Terribly." "Let us go together, then. I am certain they shall believe us if you are there. They had a hard time believing when I was there." She nodded. "When would you like to go?" She thought about it. "I would like to go now." His eyes widened. "Now? Are you certain?" She nodded. "How long has it been since you visited them?" He rolled his eyes. "It has been a few days." He sighed. "Let us go, then." After that they headed out in her chaise. They arrived at the couple's house within 30 minutes. Caprice knocked on the door. Frederic answered the door. He was surprised to see the young girl. He became livid when he saw Nicolau. His face turned beet red. "You are not allowed here. Leave this property," he bellowed. "Please, sir, give him the benefit of a doubt. Nicolau is a nice man." The man looked at her as she gave him a soft look. He gasped. She giggled. "I have that effect on people. They say I look like Princess Mariona." How is this possible? She... You cannot be, he whispered weakly. May we come inside? It is not best to talk about this outside. Anyone could overhear. Frederick sighed and widened the door. You may come inside. He led them to the sitting room. The brother and sister sat down in chairs next to each other as he went to find his wife. Soon they were sitting down in their love chair. Mariona stared at Caprice. I do not understand. How is it you look like me? That is rather hard to explain. She paused to think. I guess I should say I guess I should say Senor Baldwin helps me understand. Her mother gasped. Do you mean Cassius Baldwin? Caprice nodded. How is he? Caprice smiled. He is doing well. I actually came to Inra to meet him. It was my mother's wish. She paused. Mariona became confused. In fact, along with an envelope marked of a royal seal, she gave me this locket, she said, reaching for her neck. She took off her locket and gave it to her. I believe it is yours. The locket landed perfectly in Mariona's hand. She looked over it carefully, but did not open it. She smiled and wrapped her fingers around the locket. I do not need to open it to know this is mine, she whispered. She looked back at Caprice. How did your mother get this? My parents found it in the basket I came in, as a baby. She paused. It would be right if you kept the locket. It is yours. Her mother shook her head. My mother passed it on to me. It is time for me to pass it on to you. As she gave it back, Caprice smiled. She faintly smiled. I lost this before the riot started. She paused. Someone must have dropped the locket when they left you. No, Monsieur Chevalier left it on purpose, she commented, pulling out an envelope. Her mother gasped. She recognized the name. Caprice gave her the envelope. My father found this in the basket too. I assume it was the first thing he saw after bringing me in. Cassius explained to me that the symbol on the back is the royal seal of Menavia. Her parents gasped as they looked at the seal before she said what it was. They looked at her. She wasn't sure if they believed her yet. If the seal does not convince you, read the contents, Nicolau said. He looked at Caprice. She wasn't... Oh, sorry. He looked at Caprice. I assume it would explain your birthright? She nodded. Mariona was too afraid to open it. Frederick took the envelope and took out the 2 letters. He became confused, as well as Nicolau. Caprice smiled. One of the letters is from my mother. The other is from Monsieur Chevalier. Her father read the letter from the Monsieur. His eyes widened. It can't be true. They disappeared. His wife looked at him. He gave her the letter. She read it at lightning speed. I had twins? She whispered. Dun dun dun! And that's where I stopped. Making my way downtown. News is fast and I'm home brown. Me. And I brown you. And I cat's meow. And now I brown. Damn it, Kootra! Oh my gosh, I have been watching Jordan way too much this week. I'm kind of obsessed with a game called, or not game, games called Assassin's Creed. I don't play the games, but I've been a fan of them because of watching, I believe it was Seamus's playthrough of it last year. Seamus's creature name is SSOHPKC. Anyways, the cat's meow and the brown, blah, 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 blah. Alright, I guess I will talk to you guys later. If I have not mentioned it, let's see how many. Oh wow. Okay. Well, it seems like the one or two of the videos from now on will be well, no, let me try that again. The rest of the videos, except one or two of them, will be in 2-page forms and will be 2-page reads instead of the usual 3 or 4 pages. Since we are in the last packet of the book, I want to make this a little more enjoyable rather than speeding things up, because that's what I've been doing lately, and it just seems like I don't really care about anything about the book, which in fact is not true. I do care. Anyways, I guess I will see you guys later. The next video you will see will be Long Live Menavia Part 27, whereas this one is Part 26. If I have not mentioned it. Alright, I bid you all adieu. This is the Esperanza 243, signing off.